coming at you from a couple of stools in the low-class studios. This is A Feminist and a Comedian Walk into a Bar, your favorite entertainment podcast, starring me, your co-host today. No, leader host. Leaderhosen.
You're real
What is
rusty
my...
on this.
I know, what is our title?
Feminist and comedian walk
No,
into
I
a
know,
bar.
but like, what... and
What do you say? We're co-hosts.
yeah, but I'm like leading the show tonight.
Yeah, but we never really.
We
Like,
didn't have like a title for it.
Nope.
Okay, cool. My name is Jackie Massey. No title, but I am a feminist. I'm the feminist on this pod. I
yeah.
don't believe in titles or labels. And I am sipping on for our final episode of a feminist.
Final episode. Pew pew pew.
Pew pew pew.
pew.
Well, I wanted something that was indicative of how I've changed in the 2-3 years since we started this.
Mm-hmm.
I used to drink so much coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm a tea drinker.
You're a tea girl.
Yeah, I'm a tea girl.
Hashtag tea girl.
So much so that I went to David's Tea today,
Yeah.
a boutique tea shop,
Boutique tea shop.
to pay
Say
way
that
too
5
much
times
money
fast.
for my boutique tea.
Boutique tea shop.
Booty, it sounds like booty. Boutique tea.
Booty tea. They probably sell booty tea there.
Yeah, booty tea. They have everything there.
They have
And when
everything.
I got like a detox pack. It's like for...
So Jackie's going to try to not shit herself during the pod.
Yeah, that's like the last like big challenge of the last episode. So I decided to go with something a little snazzy. The organic Choco Chaga Detox. This detoxifying black tea with cocoa and chaga is like a cleansing hot chocolate. Okay, do you know what chaga is?
What chaga is?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Do you know what it is?
Yes, I Googled it. It's
What
a
is it?
mushroom.
Ah.
I wish I hadn't have Googled it, because now that's what I taste.
Is mushroom?
Mushroom. But it has lots of great healthy properties, nutrient dense, slowing the aging process, lowering cholesterol, fighting cancer, lowering blood pressure. But wait, there's more. Fighting inflammation, lowering blood sugar, etc., etc.
Does it taste good?
No.
It smells awful.
It smells like not hot chocolate. It smells like this little, it's throwing me back to my childhood.
Okay.
Like a scent memory in our basement. We had like those little play school kitchen toys, you know?
Yeah.
And you had fake food that like
Yeah.
smelled like something. We had cupcakes.
Okay.
Then there was like a vanilla cupcake and a chocolate cupcake that you like scratch the top and it smelled. This smells like fake chocolate plastic, and it's made the whole. You could smell it in the basement, and that's what this smells like.
Yeah.
It's very it all. It's I know it's all natural, but it smells so artificial.
It's
to
just
me,
overpowering.
and it's so overpowering.
It's like just like it's kind of giving me a bit of a headache, and I don't know if the cough is related or it's I don't know. It's just
You
it's
have
a
a
lot.
cough too.
You haven't
Oh,
heard me. I
man.
just coughed right now. My throat just feels
Do
like.
you want me to move it out of the room?
No, it's your drink. Just drink it. I'll power through. I'm getting like more and more used to it.
Yeah.
Have I told you my one fun fact that I like to repeat a lot about the
Say it.
olfactory scent?
Do it.
The olfactory sense. So basically your sense of smell.
Yeah.
It
This is
does-
like a party trick, a party
It's
fact.
not a party. Yeah, it's my party fact. Whenever anyone brings up smell, I like to throw it out there. So your olfactory sense, it doesn't sense smell. It senses changes in the smell.
Yeah.
Which is why people on hoarders that live in cat pee are like, I don't know why you guys are freaking out. I think it's fine. They've adjusted to cat pee. Them smelling roses would be like, what's that? Something's different. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's like when we leave our apartment for a few days and come back, I always smell this one smell that I smelled when we first moved in, but yeah, I don't smell it ever.
So I'm getting
Even when I leave the house and like come back during
so
the
I'm
day.
getting used to your gross mushroom chocolate tea.
As your nose adjusts.
Yeah, but yeah, when you were making it, I was like, when I first came out to the kitchen area, I was like, "Whew, I don't know." And then I kind of remembered you're making tea, and I was like, "It's pungent.
It's pungent. That's a good word
It's
for
a
it.
pungent aroma."
Look at you with the words.
I've always been good with the words.
It's very pungent, and the taste I might get used to. I feel like that's with a lot of teas. At first, I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, this
Do you
is
sweeten it
intense.
at all? Any honey?
No,
Do you think that would help?
no.
What
That
way
would be
does it
weird.
taste bad? Like in what
Honestly,
direction?
because I get the smell first. It doesn't even really taste bad. I
Does it
think
taste?
not really. More mushroom.
I
It
don't know
just
what
tastes
that
like a
is.
black tea, really,
Okay,
but with a gross scent before you take a swig.
gotcha.
I might drink the rest for like in the fall. Like it's very fall drink. Probably not best for summer, but whatever. We are trying out new David's teas.
If it helps you shit your brains out, that's great.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's detoxing exactly. My
Mm.
blood impurities.
Yeah, sounds like the other ones might make you shit more.
Yeah,
You got a tummy tea. That's all tummy tea really is. Makes you shit.
making you poo.
Makes your tummy flat.
Keeping you regular. What are you drinking today? My co-host, as always, Justin Golak, a comedian.
What's up, guys? I am sipping on sign off episode. You know, I just figured, hey, who is really signing off from this pod? Justin Golak. What is a Justin Golak?
Mm-hmm.
He's a hashtag rum guy.
Oh, rum guy.
Right in the middle of rum season,
That
even though all year is rum season technically. We all know that really it really just blooms in the summer. So I got myself a nice glass of Barcelo Gran Añejo on the rocks in a little rocks glass, sipping on some rum. Justin Golak, your one and only rum guy, coming at you, not for the final time ever, but just the final time on FemComPod. I'm ready to sip on this till I get a little indignant and yell about topics while Jackie waits patiently to talk.
for you.
Per usual. Well, not usual anymore. Performer, not per usual.
Performer.
Per past.
Yeah. Oh, I want to give a shout out to all of our regular listeners. Thank you so much. We're
Shout
developing
out.
new stuff that you can always find on our website, lowclass.com, lo-class.com.
Yeah.
Part of why we're sort of sunsetting this podcast for a while really is because we have so many other things we're working on and like
Yeah.
super cool stuff coming down the pike.
We have stuff we've been working on, so there's a back catalog. Some of that stuff's still ongoing, so you can keep, you have new things to keep abreast of if you want regular stuff. And yeah, I think we both have stuff for end of year / early next year that's going to be new.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to get rid of Jackie and Justin if you don't want to. We're just going to be together in different formats. And like I said, you can always shout us out separately. Plus, I prefer to call, like I said last episode, our penultimate. I like to think of this podcast not being done, but being on indefinite hiatus.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, the feed is active. Go. I know we do kind of topical stuff, but we try to pick evergreen takes on topics. So go listen to some old episodes. Go to the YouTube page that we stream on. If you want to watch video of the pod, but also I've put up clips throughout the years if you just want some snippets of what we did. And yeah, the big one, if you want to plug it, the Patreon.
Yeah. So our Patreon's still ticking away, and you
Yeah.
can still support us and get all the benefits. And we will still do the bonus episodes for
Yeah.
our subscribers. So
Yeah.
even though you're not getting this every other week in your podcast app, if
Yeah.
you are a Patreon subscriber, you'll still get to hear from us and hear us
Yeah.
talk about some shit.
And we already have a bunch of episodes on the Patreon feed.
you'll
So
be
if you're
able to
not a
access.
subscriber, you can get those ones. But yeah, we still have plans to do that. Definitely through 2019 and probably in 2020, we'll be doing bonus eps. So if you're like, that all sounds great, but I just need a little bit of Jackie and Justin together on the microphones. Well, in that case, it's not dead. But now you just got to pay for a bitch.
You can do as low as $1 a month.
Yeah.
It's super helpful. It helps us support the low class studios, keeping the lights
Yeah.
on, the fan going, this gross T-bot.
Mhm.
But really, no, moreover, though, I really am looking forward to what we're developing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't talk about it yet, but like the end of the fall and early next year, we're
Yeah.
going to have some really cool
Yeah.
stuff coming out, and like you help support that.
Yeah. And as you know, it's like, yeah, it's the low class Patreon. It's patreon.com/LO class no dash. But yeah, it's the low class Patreon. So, I mean, if you've listened to this, which just like Jackie, thank you so much. It's great, like meeting people in real life, just like coming up to like people we know and stuff like that or whatever, running into people and being like, oh, I love your podcast. And it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, so yeah,
Makes our day.
it's been great. But yeah, like the Patreon isn't just for this; it's for low class. So if you've listened to one of my albums, if you read one of Jackie's books, I mean Jackie's whole book, it's up on lowclass.com. That's with a dash, low-class.com. Her whole book. I mean, you should get a hard copy off Amazon, but if you just can't, It's up there in a PDF for free, a whole book written by Jackie. You can read it for free. And we, like I said, I have 2 hours of video, like,
For free, just up
free.
there.
My audio albums. You can listen on your phone, free. This podcast, other podcasts, lots of other shit, like tons of content, just all free. That's our big thing, digital content, free. But yeah, if you ever want to kick in, it really does help.
Yeah.
So that's the Patreon, baby. Buck, and you get bonus stuff. And like I said, I think it's good to talk about it now because we do have those old episodes up of me and you, and we have some more planned throughout the rest of the year. Even in this podcast, Steed. Is that how you say it? This podcast, Steed. Did I use that right? Did I use Steed right?
The steed, I don't know.
No, maybe I'm
I don't know
trying
that
too
word.
hard
That
with
sounds like a horse.
Instead, maybe it's stead. In my stead.
Stead, yeah.
So in the stead of this podcast, there is that bonus episodes planned. But I think we both talked we want to do more with that in 2020. Not just do pods, put up other cool bonus content. So either way, sooner rather than later, there's going to be even more stuff. But honestly, I love what's up there now. So
That's patreon.com
Yeah.
/low class no dash. That's
Yup.
LO class without the dash. You need
Yup.
the dash to get to our site,
yeah,
low-class.com.
Patreon.
And on Patreon, they don't allow us to have
They
a
don't
dash.
let you use special characters, so they're really killing our brand. But I think we came up with a good kind of syncopated phrasing. LO class, no dash.
No dash, Patreon.
LO-class.com.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Patreon.com/LO class, no dash.
I feel like I need a chaser for this tea.
Oh, I thought you said
should've
I
got
feel
some
like I
water.
thought you were gonna say I feel like I'm gonna shit, but I was like, it's too soon.
No.
You're gonna have to hold it.
I mean, it is good. It's growing on me like most teas. They
Like a
grow on me to the
fungus?
point
Like
that
the
I like
mushroom
need it.
in
It's
your tea?
growing on me like chaga fungus.
Chugga fungus.
All right. Are you
All
ready
right.
to get into topic one?
I am so ready, Jackie.
So
Let's
much has
topic
happened
one.
from
So much has
2016 to
happened.
2019.
The world has changed.
It has changed, and we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in it now.
AOC, old AOC.
#AOC. Cool. Well, she sort of surrounds at least the news story that our launching pad for topic one. It's the headline of the article is Ocasio-Cortez hits DHS chief for, quote, images of my violent rape in Facebook group. I'm just going to read a couple paragraphs from this article from The Hill. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, it's like boutique tea. Can't say it
Boutique
fast.
tea.
On Thursday, confronted acting Homeland Security Secretary Kevin McAleenan about a secret Facebook group in which Border Patrol agents and sexist content, including sexually graphic images of Ocasio-Cortez. Their exchange during a House Oversight and Reform Committee hearing came weeks after ProPublica first reported on the Facebook group, which contains about 9,500 members, and posts in this private group targeted migrants and lawmakers. Now remember, they're like Border Patrol workers basically, and they're sharing they just were making fun of migrants and really violent imagery of people like Alexandria. Quote, did you see the post planning physical harm to myself and Congresswoman Escobar? Ocasio-Cortez asked McAleenan. Yes, and I directed an investigation within minutes of reading the article, he replied. Did you see the images of officers circulating photoshopped images of my violent rape? She asked. Yes, I did, McAleenan responded. I'm just going to keep fucking that name up. Asked by the Congresswoman whether the officers responsible were on the job today, McAleenan said some had been put on, quote, administrative duties, but did not know which posts those officers made. We've already put individuals on administrative duties. I don't know which ones correspond to which posts, and we've issued cease and desist orders to dozens more, he said, pointing to an ongoing, quote, aggressive investigation. Ocasio-Cortez then asked if the Trump administration's highly controversial family separation policy had led to a, quote, dehumanizing culture within Customs and Border Protection. Quote, we do not have a dehumanizing culture at CBP, McAleenan said. This is an agency that rescues 4,000 people a year. Quote, so you don't think that having 10,000 officers in a violent racist group sharing rape memes of members of Congress points to any concern of a dehumanized culture? Ocasio-Cortez followed up. Those posts are unacceptable, he responded. They're being investigated, but I don't think it's fair to apply them to an entire organization or that even the members of that group believe or supported those posts. I love this topic because so much Facebook has changed. Our understanding of Facebook has changed so much since 2016 when we started this podcast, right? And I think individually and like as a whole, and my interactions with it, I'm kind of only on for these private groups, right? I'm in a lot of sobriety groups mostly, where it kind of functions as an AA, but like your name is on there, but like really like support groups basically where you're able to find this community. But I'm wondering, my question is, I have such a gross taste in my mouth. Should Facebook use
Because of this story.
both? Should Facebook users in private groups be held accountable for offensive things they post or like? Because a lot of people are I mean, I think her questioning is really cool, but like a lot of people are like they should be fired, or is there criminal charges we can bring against these people? I think it's just bonkers, but I don't know. I'd love to talk about it and
I mean,
like the
but why?
dynamics of Facebook.
I
What?
don't know why it's bonkers.
I think
I mean, if
wanting to charge someone criminally for
I feel
sharing
like,
a meme,
but I feel like
that
there's
doesn't
been
feel right.
private citizens that have been charged for things they posted on social media in criminal court.
Like, oh, like what?
For like making threats, things like that. You
Yeah,
know,
and so this would like constitute as a threat.
I guess that's my thing. It's the idea of I feel like I definitely know we've brought up in our private life before. I never remember what we've said on mic or off, but that kind of like Lenny Bruce kind of axiom that I keep coming back to about like the difference between like what is, like the truth is what is,
Mm.
everything else is a fantasy, and it's the idea of, like I said, it's like privacy doesn't exist for anyone else. So to me, in a world of perfect privacy,
Mm.
I would think that someone that has the power to enforce law in such a unchecked unilateral way as any sort of policing officer, whether it be ICE, DHS, Border Patrol, police, municipal police. I would say in a world of perfect privacy, uh, their privacy should not be perfect because I think it's imperative to know what kind of people we are giving this level of power to.
Mhm.
But like I said, that's just the fantasy. What is that, people just kind of talking, brassly out their ass on these social media platforms have been arrested and charged. And I think in some cases actually prosecuted for things they've posted on social media.
Mhm.
Um, so if that is just what is, the idea that we would extend that to the police not only sounds like natural,
Yeah.
it sounds even more
Even more
justified when that's
necessary.
what happened to those people.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I know, because they are threatening something criminal, and they're supposed to be the people who protect us
they're threatening murders
from.
that they routinely get away with.
Yeah.
Whereas a private
Right.
citizen is threatening something that even if he had the actual cojones to pull off,
Yeah, that's
that
fair.
would be the end of his life anyway. It's not
That's
that we should wait for someone to kill someone before we intervene, but I'm just
right.
saying, that
Yeah, do you think, because I feel like putting them on administrative duties, which is such a funny like punishment,
which
isn't
is
it?
just
I think
giving
they
them
should
more
just
time to post
yeah,
memes.
I think you should just fire them. Yeah, right. They're just at the computer.
All right. Well, we understand that you've been on Facebook causing problems. So what we'd like to do is get you off the streets, put you in front of a computer 8 hours a day. We think we've solved this problem. We're the cops.
We've got the
We're what's wrong
solution.
with this country.
Yeah, no, and I love her point about like you. It's, I mean, that's a prime example of how you dehumanize someone is through
Well,
imagery of their fake rape.
yeah.
You know.
And I really do think, I really do enjoy her bringing up culture
Yeah.
because I do think
Interesting. Mhm.
that's the thing of the idea of when we are taking like military vehicles that are used in wars, you know, shipping them back to the U.S. after they've, outgrown their efficacy overseas, or it's surplus or army surplus or whatever. We send them to some town in Kansas, spray paint it black, put a siren on it, and now it's a police vehicle. You know what I mean? Now, you can talk about stats, you can talk about figures, you can talk about things happening. And those things are horrific. So it's not even like this, what I'm about to say next is in contrary to that. It goes right along with it. But let's just bring up the fact that when you give municipal police officers weapons of war, even if it is just a truck and not an AK-47,
Yeah.
that's still that's creating a mental uh, just driving force that is more important even than the sum of the parts of the destruction caused by any weapons that a cop has holstered to him or that uses you know what I mean,
Mhm.
like guns, like high powered rifles are used to kill American citizens by municipal police officers every day. That's the fact. Those are the numbers. Those are the figures.
They're killing someone every day with that weapon.
I'm just meaning in general.
Okay.
But probably, I
But
know
they have
there's
them.
more.
They have them available to shoot.
There's more than 365 police murders a year. So at least I'm pretty sure. I think last time.
No, I didn't. You said like every day. I should have known not to.
Anyway, it's
You're
just,
just
my
being-
point is
you're making
the
it.
guns are being used to actually kill people. Those are the figures.
Yeah.
But we can step back and look like what else is at play here besides just the raw numbers. The fact that you're going to create you're just going to create something in someone's mind when you give them a semi-automatic rifle
Yeah.
and say, "Okay, go create peace." That person is going to approach his task differently. And so censorship. This isn't about,
Mhm.
again, I mean, foreshadowing to topic
Privacy
2.
even.
This
Yeah.
isn't about that meme is inappropriate and cancel culture. This is about what's when I think of someone working at like a social services office,
Mhm.
I imagine someone that probably takes like a joke or a meme or something like that. Maybe not these actual ones that are like quite horrific, but like they would take it harder because they're a little softer of a, you know what I mean? They have to deal with people, and their modus operatus when handling people is to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I used modus operatum. I don't know. I should have said it. I'm trying too many words.
I know.
You were impressed
You're
by that?
showing off.
You were
I know.
impressed by that one
I
big
know,
word,
it's
and now I'm
really,
just trying to get
it's
you wet.
adorable. I love it.
Just trying to
I
keep
love
you
you so
sopping.
much that you know me so well that you know that like when you sound intelligent, I get turned on.
Not even
and like you
intelligent.
more.
Big words.
Big words and
Trying to-
using them correctly.
Trying to keep those
So
panties
hot,
sopping.
but it's even hotter that you're trying right now. So you can
It's
mess
even
it
if I
up,
mess
and
up.
it's still.
But my point is, so like I'm just saying, like, so you would expect. I feel like I've gone to like the DHS, the what is it, Department of Human and Family, or DHS,
Mhm.
Department of Human and Family Services in Chicago for the state of Illinois, and I've met with a couple people, and I feel like there's always like a lot of Mr. Rogers quotes, a lot of framed Mr. Rogers quotes in the offices and
They
stuff
want to
like
help.
that. That's the point. That's the culture.
Mhm.
Maybe they're bad at their job. Maybe they're not the best social worker ever. You know, maybe they're even on the brink of not liking what they do. They're gonna quit. And you know what? They're just gonna write ad company for a fossil fuel company or ad copy for a fossil fuel company. Like they don't care. But the culture is that they'd like to care. They've tried to care, and they more likely than not, might currently be caring. And I'm just saying, so it doesn't matter what these cops are doing at the border. And we know what they're doing. Bad things.
Mhm.
It's the idea that, like she is saying, this is the mindset.
Yeah. Right.
This is your sense of humor.
Yeah.
This is your sense of this is how you blow off steam. This is like, and even maybe not those, because maybe people should be allowed to have those dark thoughts to blow off steam or to enjoy themselves, especially if they do have a dark occupation. But when it's Facebook, when it's social media, this is how you relate to your coworkers. You relate to your coworkers. You bond through violence and through discrimination and through
And when you have a history of
violence and discrimination.
right, yeah, because I think of doctors like they always joke about like to kind of survive seeing death every day, you've sort of got to have a sense of humor about death, but they're not like daily
Yeah.
being charged with killing people. Do you
Right.
know what I mean? And an abuse of their power. It's really different in a circumstance like this.
Yeah, and I just think like I don't know, like again, yeah, I'm not some big, I'm definitely a privacy queen. Like I'm not trying to take away people's
Yeah.
privacy, but it is this idea of like when Tamir Rice, is that who the Cleveland kid was, got shot,
Yeah. Hmm.
and they talked about how you know whatever the fucking lieutenant or whatever that evaluated him when he was getting hired had something like this guy seems like a fucking psycho. I would be wary putting him on the street, and everyone was like, "Oh, it seems fine." And then he fucking kills a child, like a
Yeah.
little murders a child, and it's the idea of like in 2019, can we get to a place finally where we realize like this just really isn't a job of like like I'd rather have a guy who's calm, sensibly minded, wants to help, has like a good ethic to him, that maybe can't hit the target at target practice as well as another guy who can, who's just a complete sociopath. I just think like we're just so movie minded that we think like you gotta know how to drive a car fast and take current corners good. You gotta be physically fit. You gotta be able to shoot your gun, pinpoint accuracy every time. And it's like you're not that's not gonna come up. 98% of the time, you're gonna be you know you're going to be de-escalating a fight, right? Or these other things that just don't require like violence and shooting and high-speed chases and all the things that I feel like are the metrics of cops. When I feel like the new metrics could be like, can you not make situations worse? Because it seems like we don't evaluate for that, and it seems like we're dealing with a police force that is F minus in making situations worse. Like to me, that's what a lot of these shootings are. It's not even the racism or the violence or just, which is all. It's the idea of like, yeah, we were here arguing over $5, and we thought we'd maybe bring you guys in to help mediate. Get on the fucking ground, mother! And it's like you're making it like,
Yeah.
regardless of if you murder anybody, which you are too many times. I've seen many situations where people call the police because they're like, well, surely this will help the situation. And their arrival instantly makes the situation worse. You know what I mean? And it's so shocking that it's like, how's that not a metric for evaluating? Like, how's there not just an evaluate? How's there not a question on their quarterly evaluation if they even get those? That's like, his officer Bradley made situations better or worse when he shows up to them. And it seems like a lot of these guys are, and that's I guess that's the idea like culture that I'm glad she's talking about. It's like, it's that idea of like, are you making the border better or are you making it worse? And what do you care about?
Yeah, and I think it. You keep saying bringing up culture, and it's reminding me of when Donald Trump was defending the like pussy grabbing comment, and he's like, "That's just law talk." It's like, I mean, it's not comparable, right? Like violent murder to like him just
Right.
showing off, but like, um, but probably he also probably did criminal acts. Hello, read any Jeffrey Epstein
Jeffrey
article
Epstein.
right now. But yeah, there is something important to like the way that you talk or the culture of an organization or a space,
Yeah.
private or public, analog or digital, really does influence the way you approach whatever comes next. How
Yeah.
you deal with a woman outside of the locker room, how you deal with a migrant outside of your Facebook
Well, and I
stupid
guess
group.
it's like your privacy extends as long for jobs. To me, it extends as long as
Yeah, that's
it extends as long as what we're asking to violate impacts the safety of people around you while you're performing that job.
yeah.
So, like, I don't like drug testing for jobs. I think it's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if you're applying for a job at Subway and you're being tested for drugs, it's kind of like, I think it's kind of like, I think it's kind of fucked up. It's who gives a shit? You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if he does drugs and fails at his job, people get onions on a sandwich that wasn't supposed to get onions because he's all blotted out of his fucking mind. But if we're and I don't really know, honestly, I don't really know the procedures, but if we're testing pilots, we're testing surgeons
Mhm.
every 2 weeks, just pee in a cup every month or randomly or whatever. Seems reasonable. Seems like they have a lot of lives on their hands a lot of the time, and a fraction of a centimeter of something pushing them one way or the other, slowing down the reaction, could endanger those lives. So yeah, let's invade that specific part of privacy. You know what I mean? Prostitution is legal in some parts of Nevada, right? Every 2 weeks, I think. STD tests, right? That's kind of invasive, but you're fucking for a living. You could cause an outbreak of a disease. We have to invade your privacy because you could put people in danger if we don't keep up on that. So to me, something like
really,
this,
and if it's like paid for,
yeah, and so
or you get
and
leave to get help, like that's good.
I think porn stars are under similar regulations in like California
Mm-hmm.
too. Which, like I said, again, if you were going in for a copywriting job and they're like, we need to do an STD test, I'm like, invasion of privacy.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem necessary. If it's a porn star or prostitute,
I even think doing my, I have jobs like check my credit score, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's don't. Sure,
cash,
but
because
I'm
then
not.
it's like right. So that's what I'm saying. But so again, just to close in, my point is, do I think that every job should have access to social media? No, seems super invasive. Should a platform like social media, like Facebook, that I think shows a lot of our internals based on like what we do, how we interact, should that privacy be invaded when we're dealing with a job where you being a complete just fucking sociopath would affect the lives and well-being and life or death of people every day, then yeah, that seems like just as a reasonable request for an invasion of privacy as making sure a porn star who's fucking different people every week doesn't have gonorrhea. You know what I mean? Like it seems just as prescient of a need to invade that privacy.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't have an issue with it. It's not about privacy. It's about these platforms can be a real direct pathway into your psyche, and your psyche is killing people every day, whether at the in our cities with our actual citizens.
You're not killing him. That dehumanizing is such a great word too. This is why she's awesome. Culture and dehumanizing, like key words in this, like because you're seeing that those. It's not that they're making a joke or making light of a work situation. It's that those jokes and memes are just underpinned in violence toward humans.
And it is
right?
interesting too, like another
that they have to work with and like be stern with on a regular basis, you know?
And it's just interesting because like I read an article. This is like last thing I'll say if you want to close out.
Yeah.
But like I think it kind of goes just into this thing of like, you know, just like trying to find like that's why like I think when people talk about like um, ending ICE and like huge like just like big old reforms of the police, like ground up, like burn it down, rebuild it, approaches the police. It's like you gotta think like where these things started and why they're here. And I just think like especially like there's a lot of police foundational aspects that seem racist and classist and wrong. And again, that's the culture. So it doesn't matter about good cops, bad cops, or about, accountability on a case by case basis of these wrongdoings. It's about what was this thing originally intended to do, and is that affecting what it's doing now? And I read an interesting article about basically how like the DHS was created post 9/11, which makes sense, right? And so its whole marketing scheme to get people to apply was basically to get like former military people or people with a similar mindset and kind of pitch them like, you're going to be at the border, terrorists are trying to sneak in there, you're going to arrest them, you're going to interrogate them,
So it's already prefaced with
you're going to be fucking, who's the fucking 24 guy? I always forget his name.
Michael Keaton.
No, not even close.
No.
What was the character?
I know,
Jack
Bauer.
Bauer. You're going to be Jack Bauer at the border catching terrorists, right? So they get all these fucking crew-cut, square-jawed, fucking corn-fed
Kiefer Sutherland.
Well, I was looking for Jack Bauer, though.
Okay.
They get all those guys, right? A lot of them actually veterans, and they go like, hoorah, they get the job, and then DHS goes like, actually, the job is really boring, but we knew we wouldn't get people to do that job, so we lied to you. But honestly, most of your job is going to be processing paperwork for people seeking asylum, which is like basically like boring accounting level, boring just paperwork job.
Yeah.
You're mostly going to be in an office, and you're mostly, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like you're fitting square pegs into round holes with who even has how this that's how this department was founded, on a lie and bringing in people not right for the job. Like again, the DHS should have been hiring social workers, but what they hired was vets
Yeah.
and ex cops and or people that thought that that would be a cool ass fucking thing to do. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, then yeah, you already have that culture. And now, yes, when you have a president who's actually like, yeah, actually get down to that fucking fence and start cracking heads, they're like, fucking finally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's important to address like why these things are here and what they're meant to do.
Mhm.
And that's the point. It's like, like something like ICE. It's like, yeah, get rid of it. Because it's like,
Yeah.
again, it's just like, again, it's not like ICE is some organization where it's like we go door to door without warrants and we try to sign up people to vote and try to help them out with their asylum papers. But there
Right.
are a couple guys that take it too far and they bring their guns and they get crazy and we got to root out those bad actors. It's like, no, this is like a private police force akin to something like the Nazis used. This is like a Gestapo force used to just like harass some of the most vulnerable people
Yeah.
in our society. Some who actually end up being citizens. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Mhm.
And they just have bad or old information on these people.
Yeah.
So you don't fix that. You get rid of it. And like I said, you can start a new thing, but that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
never going to be anything different in its current incarnation. And that's why, like, I think it's kind of fair for her to attack, like, what's wrong with this organization? You can't just be like, okay, guys, stop sharing memes. It's like, that's who you hire. That's who your organization is.
Yeah.
That's who you recruited. And these people are acting as they are want to act and how you knew they would act.
And now your
now you're
administration is encouraged.
and
them
now
to
you're
act.
playing the surprised card.
Yeah.
It's so phony.
Yeah.
It's pure phoniness.
Dismantle it. Yeah. I'll just cool. I'll close with and I'll share this on my website in the show notes tomorrow. But the ACLU did some really awesome like cartoon style videos. Called they're like the Know Your Rights series, and it's all about what to do, and it's based on real stories. Like
Okay.
it's like each episode is only like or video is only 5 minutes long tops, and like they're all based on real stories, and it basically it uses an anecdote to tell you what your rights are, how to best handle it if like a cop comes to your door, like don't let them in for any reason. They're probably going to lie to you. They need a warrant to come in. They can't just intimidate you and come in. And then it's also helpful for people like us citizens who, there have been ICE lockdowns, crackdown, whatever,
Crackdowns, maybe raids.
raids on CTA, like our train lines, right? And so it's really it's helpful to watch it just to like know you're allowed to film it as long as you don't interrupt the investigation. You can ask questions too for those people, right? Like you just can't like basically interrupt their work, so like you can't touch them really. But like it's very helpful, and
It'd be so fun if you
I
could,
think
though.
stuff like that is so important for like people like us to know too, who are reading this stuff and appalled and feel totally powerless, but like knowing what the rights of these people are and of us as citizens are too can help fucking fight it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also donated some of our money to these really adorable college kids who were standing outside in 100-degree heat of the office I was working at, who were like taking money for the donations for the ACLU and trying to talk to people about ICE. And I was like, good for you. I'll give you money just for being out here doing this before I
Also,
go to the
here's
pool.
the thing: if you are suicidal and you think, you know what, I'd like to, because here's
Oh
the thing.
God, where are we going?
Here's the thing: is something that people have mentioned before, and I don't think it's get talked about enough. Talk about mass shootings, right? Do we have a gun problem? We don't really have a gun problem. It is kind of crazy how many guns we have, but we really have a suicide problem, right? These mass shootings all end in suicide or death by cop or some other. It's someone that's life is over
Mhm.
and they want to make a splash on the way out. So we have a suicide problem more than a homicide problem. And we're doing schools, we're doing places, we're doing malls, we're doing movie theaters, and it's horrific. It's unnecessary violence. Churches, all these places. So I'm just saying, if you're going to do that anyways, and you need a public place, there are worse people in this world than school children, moviegoers, and mall attendees. And maybe you can help on the way out. That's all I'll say. I don't, allegedly, can I throw it? Allegedly, you could help.
I just
I don't
I feel
encourage.
like
No one
it's
should do that.
of course on our last
No one
episode
should do that.
you would take it just
No one
one
should do
step
that.
too
I don't
far.
encourage anyone to do that. It is horrific. It's bad. Do not do it. Do not even think about it. But if you're already thinking about it,
No, that's awful, Justin.
just here's the thing. Here's the thing that's not an instruction. It's just a fact, I think. It's my opinion. It's an opinion, allegedly. Some people's lives are more valuable than other people's lives. And I don't think we're making good value judgments on our ways out when we leave this world violently. I think that's a very fair way to put it. All right. Topic 2.
Oh my god. We were doing so good.
Topic 2.
It's not the FemComPod unless you encourage violence.
They're not encouraging. Not encouraging at all. That is illegal. It is illegal to encourage, and it's illegal to do. I would never encourage illegal actions. That's not. I'd like to make a statement, a full, lawful statement, that I'm not encouraging violence. Violence is wrong and illegal. I would never encourage that. Topic 2. XXX Tentacion.
I gotta get some gum. I'm so sorry. You can
Okay.
intro it while I go.
Is it really that
It's
bad?
really bad.
Don't you have like 3 more bags of tea?
Of that tea, yes.
So
Maybe it'll be a giveaway on our Instagram.
Yeah, you really sold it well. I think it's so funny because we were looking at tea. There was this detox tea. So it's basically like 4 bags of 4 different types of tea, something like that. And Jackie had this box. It was the cleanse box, and this was one of the teas. So she has 3 different types. So luckily it's not a complete wash. And I grabbed another box of tea. It was the decaffeinated blend of tea. Can you hear me at all? And I said, Jackie, do you want to maybe try this decaffeinated blend? She got very annoyed. I was like, I know which one I want. I want the cleanse one. I was like, you can get that one too, maybe. I just want to mention in the moment. So it's not even that we're recording right now. It's just in the moment I want to recognize that, the schadenfreude on you hating the thing you picked out and we're so aggressively defending.
It's not all of it though.
It's
This
sweet.
is just one flavor of all
It's
the
still
detox teas.
Sweet schadenfreude because I know the box. Ooh, I would have thought that. Because
Chocolate
chocolate
doesn't
tea,
belong in.
what are you thinking that's going to taste like? Now, let me reframe it another way. Chocolate tea. Let me reframe it for what it really is. Hot water. Does that sound like something you want to drink now?
With fungi.
Ooh,
Just drink the fungi. I thought
I
the
wish I could
chocolate
take
was
this
good.
schadenfreude, put it in a
Little
porous
sprinkle.
bag. XXXX Tentacion.
Topic 2.
He's fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
Good riddance. Now, this comic, Dina Hashem, had a joke about, in this article, they refer to him as X after they introduce his full name.
Okay.
So
we
let's
should
just
do
refer
that.
to him as
X.
that because that'll be a lot quicker. So
He's a rapper.
and yeah, was a rapper.
Was a rapper.
He's dead now.
Okay.
So comedian Dina Hashem or Dinah Hashem, it's got to be Dina. She basically, so serious. I don't know if this is big news or not. I just follow so many comics on Twitter. It's like huge on there. I don't know if like any normal people are actually talking about this. It's just funny how news can be so like fractured in different niches. I'm like, this is a big story, and it's very possible you guys listening is the first time you ever heard this. But basically, I noticed it was from what I believe is this new Comedy Central show called This Week, and it would make sense, called This Week at the Cellar, I believe. And it seems, I've never seen the show, but I've seen like commercials. It seems like the premise is hey, we're kind of recording people going up at the Comedy Cellar in New York, and then we're going to put clips of that. Uh, 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 with the premise being is like, we're not recording a special. We're not even recording a half an hour. We're just going to record sets because a lot of times people have topical issues in their sets at smaller clubs. Just have a set and they're like, hey, this thing Xtacion just died. I'm going to address it. That's not going to make it into my act because I have to record an hour a year from now. No one's going to remember who that is.
Right.
But I'll do a little quick 2-minute joke about
And
it
they
at
like
the Cellar.
having relevant.
And so then
stuff.
that's the premise of the show this week at the Cellar. It's kind of like, hey, here's a show featuring the most topical jokes of the week from the Comedy Cellar.
That's cool.
And so it seems like all TV platforms now, they put some of the jokes online, kind of promo the longer form piece that is the show on TV. And so they Comedy Central put one of her jokes online from that show. And here's something else that I'm very excited to get to do, just for a fellow comedian in Miss Hashem. Because I feel like there's always this kind of famous thing that took place in the Lenny Bruce trials when he was getting, taken to court for his obscenity trial, was the idea that they would just have fucking cops, always comes back to fucking cops, just read transcripts that they took down of what he said on stage. And he was always in this like hilarious catch-22 where he'd be like, let me do my act in the courtroom because he's saying it flat, so it seems awful.
Yeah.
If you let me say it jokey, you'll see that it's a joke. You'll get the context.
Yeah.
You'll realize it's not bad. Also, he's like interpreting stuff I said straight just differently. It's not that he's taking out the affectation. He's interpreting it differently and sometimes just misremembering it because he's just writing it down while I'm talking.
Yeah.
And then
you don't even know if he got it all down.
Right. Just let me do my act. And then the catch-22 is the judge was like, it's an obscene act. I'm not going to let you do it in like a courtroom.
God.
It's too obscene for the public.
How infuriating.
This is a public forum. You can't be routine. Ironically enough, it's like, let me do the routine. You can't. It's obscene. How do you know if it's obscene if I can't do it? Well, I think it's obscene because he's doing it, but he can't do it. Well, if I can't do it, then you don't know if it's obscene. I think it's obscene. Oh, no. It's like it's like bad comedy.
So cyclical.
So they have the full. So I'm reading an article that has the full quote of her joke. And I'm excited that if this is the first time hearing a story, I'm going to try my best to do it like a joke.
Okay. Oh,
because
cool.
if you read this article, you never know. You could
I didn't even get the joke at first.
Right. Or you might be like, and also in the middle of the joke, it said, she said in the since deleted bit. So you're like ruining the rhythm. Say that at the end. So that's what I mean. To read something is the worst. This isn't as bad as a cop jotting it down. At least like this article took it straight from the video.
Yeah.
But that's the best, of the little things we can do to help people we care.
So this joke you're about to do caused a big controversy.
Yeah, and
we'll talk about
as a comic, I'm going to do it as jokey as I can.
Okay. So we try to get it in the best context.
Without Ms. Hashem here to defend herself, I at least want to give her joke a jokey context.
Okay.
So I might not be as funny as her, but I am a professional comedian. So I think it's better me than just the words flat on a piece of paper.
Okay.
So here's the joke about X. XXX Tentacion. He's a rapper who was murdered. He's dead now. He was shot. So he was on his way to buy a car with $50,000 in cash, and somebody shot him and took the money, which is very tragic. But I also think it would be very good. It would be a very good Venmo commercial. That's the first thing I thought when I heard it. I was like, I should get Venmo.
Good
job. Good joke.
Yeah.
So
the idea being that like you wouldn't need the cash with you.
Yeah.
You'd just have your Venmo.
Well, X's fans were not too pleased.
They're like the Bayhive.
They're like the Bayhive. They're the X Clan. They're the X-Men.
The X-Men.
So there's no women in that fan group. I guarantee you that. There's more women in the X-Men. That's a good joke. Take that up at the Cellar. Get that deleted by a bunch of nerds. Actually, so they, the fans were mad. They got so mad that she was joking about someone dying that they thought was, had some good songs for like 6 months. That they that Comedy Central took the bit down.
Wow.
And she was getting harassed so bad that she made her Twitter account like private.
Oh
Like
my
she's Twitter, but it's private, you know.
yeah.
Because she was just getting threatened and shit, and she put out an apology on her Instagram page. You know, just did one of those things where you just like screenshot a little note app and just was like, "I'm sorry, wasn't trying to hurt anyone's feelings." Blah blah blah.
Jeez.
And so
That's bonkers.
a lot of people that are defending her, besides the fact that it's a fucking joke, grow up children, but more so,
Yeah.
people have been making the
Wait, hold on, just
yeah
before you go on.
yeah.
So they say like this was someone's child
Not even
murdered.
that, just like that was a tragedy. He was a good
Okay.
person.
That's why
You
they're
shouldn't
offended.
joke about someone being shot.
Okay.
Whatever. So they a lot of people defending her besides, like I said, just the fact that it is a joke and that should be enough to defend her. Also, they should rape/death threat anybody. Again,
Right.
tie back to topic one. But a lot of people the fact that old X was someone that, you know, pregnant girlfriend, I believe, to the point that she lost the child,
Oh
if I
my
remember the story
God.
correctly. And definitely had other confirmed abusive encounters with her. Was not
so not like a pillar of society here.
not at all.
Aw.
So what is
It's not even like she said anything crazy. She even said
Yeah.
it's tragic and just like
yeah.
made that's what blows my mind too. Is it's? I mean, she could have really made fun of him, you know,
Right.
but instead it was just like
But again, I
the
don't want to
situation.
for sure. I don't want to get into like a huge joke
debate on the joke type.
or on jokes.
Okay.
Feel like it's been done on here. It's been done everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
I'd like to take like per usual on all these topics we pick. I'd like to take specific.
Okay.
And I think shit and a musician. She's clearly not a piece of shit and a comic. What is the pass that other art forms, but we can even keep to music, seem to get that comics in 2019 are not getting?
Yeah.
Let's never hit a woman. Like, say some of these rappers never hit women. They talk about hitting women. And I don't mind. You know why I don't mind? Because I'm like, as long as you don't do it, it's art. You're talking about it. Maybe you think it is horrible. That's why you're bleeding it out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's some perverse way to show masculinity. That's toxic, but if you're not doing it, put it in your song, right? Talking about hitting women, cars, and money. It's a braggadocious song. It's a weird thing to brag about. We should talk about that.
Women,
well, but
right?
it's like we should talk about that, but if you're not doing it, it's your right to do that in art.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it still exists, and we don't really care. But then this comic does a joke, not a violent joke, talks about a current event, makes a joke about money and Venmo. We care a lot. It's just so weird to me why comedy is the new thing we're drilling down on. And I've never been a medium that has been drilled down on this much before for something that happens in the creative class. You know, we're not talking about what this comic's doing off stage. We're drilling down on the appropriateness of her creation. But there's not a lot of other creations that are held to that level.
Right. And there's so many examples of that. Right. But I think I've always thought that comedians get held to different standards because of the art form. I think a lot of people don't, in the general population, don't think of it as art because they've been funny before. They think they can do it. They can make someone laugh. They've made someone laugh, you know?
Right.
And it's a shame because it's like, you've never done it like this, though. It's not
Yeah.
you. But I think that makes it easier for them to like make, I don't know, just not respect it as much as an art because they.
But well, even that, I think that's maybe why people heckle.
Yeah.
But do you think there's also something like, do people think that people are up there talking their true feelings? And it just happens to be funny.
I think they don't understand what it is.
They don't understand. Because it's just weird that since what 2012. I feel like 2012 was the great rape joke wars,
Mm-hmm.
and we've kind of been like,
what's his name?
I don't know. You got to
What's
give me more.
the Comedy Central guy who made the rape joke that was like a big deal?
Oh, I don't know. There's like been
No, he
85.
does the.
Oh, Daniel Tosh.
Thank you.
That probably was the shots fired of the rape jokes war.
Yeah.
That was probably that might have been 2012. But I think since then that's been like the even though there's other offensive jokes, that's been kind of like
9/11.
the
Yeah.
thing
Mm-hmm.
that we talk. But that's why like that goes into that. But we never say like our 9/11 jokes are okay. We say our rape jokes okay.
Yeah.
So we think of it as like the worst. But my point is, it's like we've been talking about that for almost a decade now. If it really was around 2012 that it started, the show, the biggest show of the same era that just went off the air, Game of Thrones, full of rape. There's tons of rape, incest. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, love it, great show.
Yeah.
And it's like
Because
this,
they them to identify as fantasy
right?
or fiction.
Or
right?
fiction, because even
Yeah,
without the
okay.
dragons, again, SVU,
Fiction.
hugely popular,
Yeah.
full of rape. Sometimes the rapists get off. I mean, it's a network show, so a lot of
They
times
all
they
get
don't.
off.
But seriously, I've seen episodes where they can't get the guy, and the rapist goes free on a technicality. You know,
Mm-hmm.
not often because it is a network
And he
show.
hunts
But
down Olivia.
yeah, but my point is like rape, and again, not always a rape that ends with a nice little bow on top. Like we fixed it. Sometimes just rape, just an hour of rape that ends tragically, and everyone's like, best show on TV, love it. And like you said, that's just people in New York. But for some reason, comic talk about rape. Now it's like you're making a statement. Is that why? Like, is that why this joke? Even though again, like I see it as a joke. Most non-retarded people see it as a joke. But there's just some people that are like, she went to this room, and she said, "Hey, owner of the Comedy Cellar, I need to get on stage and I need to talk shit about XXX Tentacion because that's what's in my heart, and I need to take this motherfucker down a peg because I don't like him." They think that's how it went down. Probably, right? In some way. Maybe they're not they wouldn't vocalize it that way, but subconsciously, that has to be the different. Whereas for some reason, they have enough sense to be like, well, look, he's raping her on Game of Thrones, but his dick is probably in a little hammock, and she probably has underwear on, and they might not even be touching the way they shoot this. And afterwards, they probably go and get tea together. This girl, she's making statements about our boy. Whereas this show, this is a creation. This isn't real life. They think of like these jokes as real life, but they're jokes.
Yeah, because you're not on stage as like a fake person. You're on stage as yourself. So I think if you're not familiar with the comedy, can be cathartic or fake, or you're just saying the most outrageous thing. Whatever. It can take a lot of different forms, right? I think you made the best comparison the other day when we were in the car and we just watched Crawl.
Yeah.
And we liked it because it was like a monster movie, but we were both agreeing that like we like monster movies. It has scary moments, but we don't like horror movies. Makes us feel really funky and sad and bad and scared for like days, right?
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, so it's not like we are, you and I, because we don't like horror movies and it makes us uncomfortable and feels really violent. We're not like, stop that. Don't ever do that again. Take it down.
Horror movies are problematic.
Problematic, canceled, never again. We just don't go to them.
Yeah.
I
just
feel
go,
that way about comedy.
not for me.
Just don't go to comedy then. Or find your type. Maybe you would like improv comedy better, Or
no
like,
one does. So you probably wouldn't, but maybe.
But like I feel like there's just not that like sort of cultural understanding of what comedy is.
It is just again,
and I think because you as a kid you watch comedy movies, quote comedy, right? I always think like when you go to a comedy show, it's like, well, I don't know, is this person blue? Are they like kind of goofy and silly, or like you could get all kinds of flavors? Whereas like music is so much more defined.
Right.
Like I'm going to a rock show, I'm going to a rap show.
But it is always just
like,
interesting how it is like the one form where people seem to have the inability to go like, not for me. You know what I mean? Like that it's a problem with the art, not a problem with them. Like the art is wrong, they're fine.
Or like not for the art. It's just not for you because it's
Yeah.
art and like it's
It's also
subjective.
still like, again, like, and I get it that it's hard, but I wish we could just start talking about this a little more intellectually. Even
Mhm.
comics, I wish we could talk like this to the normies instead of just being like, it's jokes, it's freedom of speech, like, that's important. It's not that I don't believe it, but comics are doing. I think we just need to start breaking it down and being like, this is a joke. A painting is removed from a painter as much as the joke is removed from me. I created it, and then I put it out to you, once a night, twice a night when I'm doing shows, to do with it what you want. Laugh at it, don't laugh at it, hate, ruin comedy for you forever. Become my number one fan. It's the art. This isn't just me talking. Like, it's a creation. It's crafted. It's meant to elicit laughs and reactions, and like sometimes it's meant to elicit offense, but in the way that it's a self-contained creation. It's not just me talking to you, eh, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Just like a song or a painting, like it's a step removed from you, and so that's like what I think's happening. It's like Dina Hashem makes a joke, let's murder threat her. You know what I mean? But it's like you're not mad at her. You're mad at the joke.
Well, yeah, and it is weird how
But like, because that's the idea. Is like I feel like because that's why you're not mad at the movie, right? Because you're not like, this is the director. I've seen that person in interviews. That's Brie Larson, and she said that thing because she believes that, and I hate her. I'm gonna go on Twitter and say, Brie Larson, I hope you fucking die. You're an awful person. We don't think that, but that's it. That's the same thing a joke is. We some stuff right now about how I really feel.
right.
That's part of the art, but if you're not retarded, you should know that it's a creation. The same way you're not mad at Brie Larson, you're mad at her character, and then you realize, but it's a character, so I'm just like mad, but like in a fun way, like I'm caught up in it. But I'm not gonna like tweet at her, and that's why I said. So that's why I think you have the ability to go like horror movies, not for me, not the idea that like that movie was attacking me. They showed me that girl's head getting cut off because they know I've seen that. They know that would affect me, and they hate me, and they're trying to hurt my feelings. You just be like, oh, that's a creation that they put out to everyone. I didn't like it, so the problem's with me, not with the art.
Yeah.
It's like because it's easy to get mad at a person. It's hard to get mad at art and not feel dumb, and that's what they do. They don't go like, I didn't like that joke. Those jokes aren't for me. They just skip the joke. They're going right to like, that person's bad. Why are they bad? Because they said this thing. When
yeah,
it's really,
and it really is just the removal that is inherently in your degrees away from the artist and the art and you as the viewer or reader or whatever when it's like a fictional or even an essay or something. Like I think about writing where it's like so many fucked up books
yeah,
are out there and we don't think like this writer needs to like die. What a
yeah,
psycho. You know what I mean? It's more like it's like a respected, and that's good. That's important. We should protect that. And that's why I defend comedians too, because honestly a lot of it's not for me either. Like
yeah,
I understand that a lot of people need those like to say fucked up shit to feel better to deal with the darkness of the world. That's okay. I think that's good. That's a really healthy outlet for it. Look at
yeah,
Eminem's like most evocative raps. Like he is like expressing violence through a non-violent means.
right,
Hell yeah, I champion that. But moreover, I think it's important for not just comedians to be defending her or the artists and circumstances. Like important for all of us because who are artists or who value creative freedom because I mean it's like that quote, you guys first and then it's us. You know what I
yeah,
fucked up horror story or like
right,
molestation thing. You know what I mean? Like where
right.
the guy gets away with it. Like I'm not wishing that.
Then
It's
they
just a
came for
story.
me. Um, like, it's just this weird thing of like, I'm sorry, I started a sentence. I kind of forgot what I was gonna say now.
I hate when that happens when
I know, I
and you're
had it.
like and then you try to cover it like by going did say it slowly like it'll
I
come
don't
back.
really remember what I was.
At
It feels
least
like
the scent of this cocoa thing has dissipated a bit.
it hasn't. We've just
Have we
gotten
just
used
gotten
to it.
used to
It's
it?
our cat pee. It's our cat pee in our hoarder's home. We've just gotten used to it. It's a part of our life now. Yeah, if
Oh.
you go to work tomorrow morning and you come back home and be like, God damn, it still smells. I thought it was gone, but I was just in it. Um, yeah. Oh, well, excuse me. Sorry. I remember what I was going to say though now. Whether you, because again, like, let's not even give crevices where someone could, break it. Let's just keep it even simpler. Because you said it's a healthy outlet for people to deal with the horrors of the
Sure,
world.
even if it's unhealthy.
I think it is, but let's just say, again, let's just call it an outlet. That you can't disagree with. People use it as an
Yes.
outlet.
Okay.
So my point, like, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying let's even
Yeah.
take
Just
that away.
take that modifier
It's an
out of there.
outlet.
Yeah.
So my point is, what do you use comedy for, Justin? Slash most people, as an outlet to deal with things that are just like horrific. It's a way that it contextualizes for them. For me, I'm not saying it fixes them or it even solves them, or it doesn't even necessarily make me feel better about them. It just contextualizes them, which just giving meaning to the world sometimes just can center you. It's almost meditative more than fixing, either externally or internally.
Yeah.
Why do you joke about rape? Because you don't care about rape? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, didn't you hear what I just said? If I'm joking about rape, clearly that must mean that I find it to be a horrific thing without meaningful context. Something that I just can't even imagine why it would exist because it seems so horrific. That's why, like, so again, like, it just seems like such a misunderstanding of the art to be like, yeah, if a lot of people are joking about rape, it's because a lot of people agree with you that it is horrific. They just choose to deal with it in a different way.
Yeah.
But they're acknowledging the same as you that it's a horrific thing, would be better if it didn't exist.
Yeah, and I think two final thoughts. One, I just had a brain fart too.
Uh-oh.
Um
It's that tea.
yeah, it's causing farts of the brain,
Brain
not
farts.
not of the tummy.
That's
Um
Jackie's brain.
oh, okay. So the difference between something like horror and comedy, I think it's such a problem where we're like horror, we're not supposed to like it. So when and like and we let you have it, right? But like comedy seems like something we're all supposed to like, and we do like it, like as a whole, right? We like
Yeah.
laughing, what a release, live, laugh, love, like this is something that's supposed to make us feel good, and then when it doesn't, we're like, it must be a bad joke, there's just this, yeah, like not thinking it about it critically, and second, I always think that, I mean, people blame outrage culture for things like this, which is part of it too. But I think a part of it also is, I think the trend in comedy for a while, for the like 2010 to like 20 until Me Too, honestly, when we kind of saw through this stuff, was like, I think people like Louis C.K., who was the most popular comedian during that time, really had stuff that felt socially aware and smart and progressive, and that's what we came to expect, and that's why people sort of lost their shit when he came back and was doing honestly the same type of comedy. It just wasn't on your side anymore, and they didn't like it. I mean, beyond his Me Too accusations, right? But like, that's what they were reacting to, is that the pendulum had swung the other way, and now they didn't think that was as funny because it's kind of making fun of them, and it's like, no, that's why it's important. And if you
Yeah.
really thought critically about it, you would see the threads of that in his earlier stuff. You just agreed with it. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
I feel like there was this, we kind of culturally thought like, oh, this must be what comedy is, and it's like socially moving us forward and making fun of the right sorts of things. And actually, his job is kind of the opposite.
100%.
Like,
100%. That's what's so funny. Like,
the Joker, like, I mean, fucking far back as human culture as we can
Yeah.
get, right? The Joker was there to agitate, really.
Right.
Like, it
Well,
wasn't just funny.
yeah.
It was, and that's why it was funny though, is because it was agitating, like what had become popular or normal.
Well, and that's like, again, like, I know I've told you this before, but it is like, there's so many ideas here, and there's so many ways to say things, and there's so many good points to make on the side of comedy. But it is nice when someone just kind of says something just uh, briefly and succinctly in a way that you're just like, yes. Like, I don't know why I didn't think to say it like that, but it just like, it's just so clear and it just points out just real like the root. I was talking about like roots versus branches, like
Mm-hmm.
the root problem with all this ridiculousness. And I think you pointed to it. It's like like I said, I brought this up to you before, but it's like Colin Quinn's new special, his Red State Blue State special, when he just goes, I just like it was just something I was like, God damn. So he was basically just like, uh, sometimes I say jokes and people get offended, and when someone gets offended at something I say on stage, I really have to take a step back, look inside, and remember why I got into comedy in the first place, to uphold the status quo. And it's just like, yeah, it's like basically exactly what you said, which is like when someone's like, I didn't like that, it's like, that's why I did it. Like, I don't know, why are you here? That's why I did it. So you wouldn't like it, but you would laugh anyways.
Right, and I think that the best comedy comes from when it's
Yeah.
not the low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Just say something contrarian. It's like really smart and thought through, and makes you then just see something a little differently. Whether you don't even have to agree, like you don't even
Yeah.
have to find it funny, but like the thought process involved is always what's so fascinating to me and like fun to watch. Right?
And if the
I feel like the best comedians are like the philosophers of our time.
and if the deconstruction of social norms, if the outright defiance of good taste is not for you, then stand-up comedy in general is not
Probably
for
not
you.
what you want to go watch. Right?
If you
go
don't,
go watch a
if blood
horror
makes you
movie.
squeamish,
Don't
horror's
watch a
not
horror
for
movie.
you.
Yeah.
If you have sensitive eardrums, heavy metal's not for you. You know what I mean? If you're colorblind, painting is not for you. If you don't like sitting for long times, theater isn't for you. Like there's a lot of stuff out there, and it's not for everybody. But you leave. Don't make us leave. You leave.
Yeah. It's funny that it's like, I mean, he's a rapper, right? I feel like rap is like such a great example too of like
He's dead.
of artists who um get a cathartic relief from fictional tales or storytelling. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just ironic to me, but not
Yeah.
all of it, right? But like anyway,
Anyways, topic 3.
that was good stuff. I like that topic.
Final topic of all.
Yeah, so I wanted to I needed a
Topic 3.
and this is like looking forward here.
Are you getting choked up a little bit?
No, it's the intent is for two. We'll do, maybe we just have one of topic threes, 3 topic threes, So there was a lighthearted Twitter hashtag thing, viral, whatever, maybe a week and a half ago at this point, but it struck me as fun, and not much on Twitter strikes me as fun anymore. But it was where you came up with if you were to run for president, your 2020 hashtag campaign hashtag and like motto, right? So we figure you find your campaign slogan by it's your last name 2020 plus and then a colon and then the last text you sent.
Yeah.
So I wanted topic 3 is just like, what's your 2020 campaign?
Basically, Jackie doesn't know my password to unlock my phone, and this
so
is
I'd
her
like to
trick.
hear it's your past 3 messages to the last woman on your phone who's not your mom or me.
Yeah, this is a trick, and I saw it coming from a mile away. So she's not clever. Women be spying.
Oh my God,
women be invading privacy.
Dude, I just looked at mine and forgot that I had because I mean, not that I didn't want to like think about it during the day because I'm like I don't want it to be intentional, but mine's super funny.
Mine, I don't know if it's super good, but I think I could sell it as good.
Sometimes the ones that are totally unrelated are funny. Okay, do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. Hashtag Manti 2020 scary.
Nice.
I have someone texted me about this car accident in front of their house, and like the kid was okay, but they had to call 911. And I had been talking, and then my last one was scary.
Scary.
That would be scary. It'd be scary for me to run for president.
You ready for me?
Hell yeah.
Golak 2020. Got it down. Thanks. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's
I
a
was
good
just
one.
someone booked me for a show. That was my last text, and so they're
Got
like,
it down.
they gave me the date, and I was like, got it down. Thanks.
I loved reading some of them on Twitter. Like some
Yeah.
were just like really long because you can send really long text messages.
Right.
It's just a really
I'm
long
sure
thing
I've
out
had
of context.
I'm sure I've had better ones before that one. But like I said, so when I was sending it to the person
I'm glad you
booking
didn't
me,
like fake it though.
didn't fake it.
Yeah.
So when I was sending it to the person that just texted me for the booking, I was like, got it down, got it in my calendar. Thanks for booking me.
Mhm.
But I think, like I said, I think I didn't have to change because it's kind of like I think it's not cheating to change inflection. So the way I have it is like about doing the job of president. Golak 2020, got it down. Thanks. Something like that. Like I think it could
Like
still work.
you got it down.
I got
You're
it
ready
down.
for this.
Like you could even again, like I know this would be cheating adding a word, but like if I really was running for president, it could be something like Golak 2020. I got it down. Thanks. Because it's confident but polite.
But polite, yeah.
You know, it's like he's confident, but he's not cocky.
But he seems like a really nice guy.
He's not an asshole, but he's
not
like
an asshole.
he makes me feel safe, but not like scared. You know,
I feel in good hands.
it's like a guy with one sleeve of tattoos. You know, like he's not gonna hit you, but like you're worried he might enough that it gets you a little horny.
Yeah. He makes me feel confident enough that I don't need to pay attention to the border stories anymore.
Like he owns the motorcycle, but he only rides it on surface streets. Doesn't go above 35.
Not the highway. No.
And he wears his
no
helmet.
highway.
But it's real loud, and it's like he lets me sit on it sometimes, and it
But
rumbles.
and he has a helmet for me.
And he has a helmet for me.
Sweet.
And he has a little holster on it that he can put flowers in, and sometimes he brings them to me when I've had a bad day.
It's the best. While blaring.
I think he drinks too much. But otherwise, it's great.
Otherwise, it's great.
That's my slogan, basically. Personified.
I love it. This has been fun.
Fun.
Oh, I am kind of sad.
Touch hands?
Touch hands.
All right.
Check us out, lowclass.com, lo-class.com. Today, I will have my show notes. I'll share those videos from the ACLU about ICE and like knowing your rights.
Yeah.
And some other cool stuff. Maybe I'll find a clip. Well, if they took the clip down of her, we'll basically share a link to the story about X, and you can read the joke yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
my rendition
you can check
was
that
pretty
out
good.
that was pretty good at JackieManty.com. And yeah, keep coming back. Follow me on Instagram at JackieManty and on Twitter at Jackie_Manty. Tell me your 2020 hashtag. I'd love to hear it. And yeah, and just stay tuned for more really cool shit coming out later this year and early next year. And also, if you're a Patreon subscriber, like you'll be first to know about stuff. That's patreon.com/loclass. No doubt. Oh wait. Oh, Jackie at JackieManty.com if you'd like to chit chat. Justin, where can we find you?
Send her tit pics. I'm just
still didn't get any. These 3 years. No
what?
tit pics.
Send them over, guys. Stop being so prude. You don't have to show your face. I guess we will have your email address, but we're not trying to do anything weird. We're not trying to revenge porn. You know, we just want to look at some good tits.
It's just for us.
Just for us.
For our private Facebook group.
Yeah, just between us. I'm look at them and then make love. So you're kind of like a threesome with us. If you're not comfortable with that, maybe don't send them. But send your
it's
tits.
like don't go to the horror movies. Don't send your tits. If
But
you're
send
like
your
that,
tits.
Send your tits.
Send
We
your
love them.
tits. Jackie at JackieManty.com. Send them tits.
Send
Keep
them.
in touch with her. JustinGolak.com. If you're listening to this like the week it comes out, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be on the road this following weekend. So I'll be in like Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana. So, if you're not a Chicagoan, you get a chance to see me. But I got a lot of stuff. I'm headlining a couple shows in August locally, so you can see me do some longer sets in Chicago. Dates are always up at JustinGolak.com. Also, I'm more apt to post, kind of some show listings, kind of like some hey, these are my next 2 shows or something like that on Instagram. So I know I plug Twitter a lot, but
yeah, and Gear Talk's on Instagram.
Gear Talk I've been loving. If you don't know what that is, go to my Insta. It's the same as my Twitter, so just follow them both at Justin Golak, Twitter and Insta. And then mine is Justin at JustinGolak.com. Send them dick pics. You know what I mean? We might still make love to those, but if you have tits and a dick, Send a full
Oh,
bod
even
shot.
better.
That's the best.
Yeah.
And then just CC me on that. Send it to Jackie and CC me because it qualifies for both. All right. Do you want to sign us off? It's technically
Yeah.
your sode. Take us out. I
We
don't know.
love you guys.
Just say the Patreon in the low class again, I guess.
Hey, well, no, but like
Oh, you want to
seriously,
say it
thanks
nice?
for fucking listening.
Thank you.
Yeah, for
It
real.
really does mean a lot.
And
This
there's
has been
and
a lot of fun to do.
it's been a lot of fun, and like I feel like there's some people that I talk to about the podcast a lot, and it's really that has meant a lot to me and
Yeah.
Justin that you listen and you support us and you support art, and like I think that's such a big deal. That's so important, and like in a time not just politically, right? Just like culturally, like we feel kind of powerless, but then also feel really powerful. Like you can order anything you want online in the moment, but like these social ills you can't do anything about, and like changing yourself takes a long ass time. You know, like you're kind of faced with a powerless feeling a lot. But like supporting art and artists, I think, is a way to be powerful. You really it even just listening or sharing or talking about it means so much to an artist, to us, to anyone who is creating shit and putting stuff out there. When you support it, it's a huge deal. So thank you.
Yeah.
FemComPod out. Episode 86, baby.
Lowclass.com.
Lowclass.com.
LO-class.com. Like I said, indefinite.
Oh, that was such a good sign off.
No, but I just want people to know indefinite hiatus. So keep the feed subscribed if you already do. You know what I mean? Maybe big events, maybe special events in our lives. We might be back. No promises, but don't be strangers. We're paying our podcast hosting fees every year when they come up for the foreseeable future. So our past will be a part of your life, and maybe every once in a while, our future will be a part of your lives too. So, yeah. Sorry I didn't give you the last word. Take it again, and I promise I won't say anything.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.